Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today we're looking at a deeply emotional story that starts with a pretty heartbreaking loss for one rising country star, but ultimately it reveals this unprecedented crisis that's literally sweeping across the entire live country music industry in 2026. If you've been following the tour circuits this year, you've definitely noticed a massive wave of abrupt cancellations. So we're going to unpack exactly what's happening behind the scenes, using the stories coming directly from the artists themselves. We've got to begin with the really tragic news from rising country newcomer Zach John King. He just suddenly lost his father, a man he described as a joyful follower of Jesus, his absolute best friend, and his family's rock. This sudden passing, in what King described as the literal blink of an eye, sent absolute shockwaves through his family and, of course, his rapidly growing fan base. When tragedy like that strikes, family absolutely has to come first, right? To grieve with his loved ones, King understandably paused all his major upcoming performances for the following 2 weeks. And we're not just talking about a quiet weekend at a local bar here. He was stepping back from highly anticipated slots at massive events like Freedom Fest and Country Jam USA. Plus, he had to temporarily suspend his special support dates opening for country superstars Luke Bryan and Riley Green. And it really hits hard because his dad wasn't just a supportive parent, he was actually Zach's spiritual and musical mentor. The catalyst for Zach's entire career actually traces back to a simple iPod shuffle gifted to him by his father. It was preloaded with everything from Otis Redding to the band Alabama, which effectively expanded Zach's musical spectrum and completely guided his growth into the artist he is today. But despite all this unimaginable grief, King left his fans with a really beautiful daily quote from his late father. Even on the days when Zach admitted he just didn't want to hear it, his dad would remind him to rejoice in the day. Armed with that perspective, King promised his fans that after taking the time he deeply needs to heal with his family, he's definitely going to return to the stage that his dad loves so much. Now, out of all this heartbreak, there was actually a really surprising bright spot for fans out in Minnesota. With a massive vacancy left at Freedom Fest just a couple of days before the event, the festival scrambled for a last-minute replacement. And Chandler Walters, who is a phenomenal steel guitar player and actually the co-writer of that smash Post Malone and Morgan Wallen hit, I Had Some Help, respectfully stepped up to fill Zach's spot. It's just a great example of the country music community pulling together during a really difficult time. While Zach John King's hiatus is obviously rooted in an unpredictable, heartbreaking family tragedy, looking at the wider landscape forces us to pivot for a second. Why are so many other country artists suddenly stepping away from the stage in 2026? We are seeing an absolute wave of dropped tours right now, and we really need to understand what is driving it. Section 1. The 2026 Tour Crisis. Because this isn't just about the newcomers. Dozens of major artists across the entire spectrum are pulling the plug. You have absolute legends like Dolly Parton canceling her Vegas residency due to dizziness and exhaustion from medical treatments. You've got massive stadium acts like Zach Bryan halting international dates because of vocal strain, and Jason Aldean scrapping summer shows thanks to logistical nightmares and skyrocketing production costs. And then you have highly respected traditionalists like Colter Wall pausing indefinitely because his insanely busy schedule left him feeling mentally unwell. Which brings us to Section 2, burnout, health, and family. As fans, we totally buy into the illusion of touring, don't we? The glamour, the nonstop adrenaline, living the ultimate dream. But behind the curtain, the reality is starkly different. Artists are facing chronic physical pain and severe mental exhaustion. Actually, vocal strain is becoming incredibly common right now because artists are packing in so many shows a week just to offset those skyrocketing fuel and venue costs. In fact, a lot of touring acts are now having to hire therapists, trainers, and recovery experts literally just to physically survive the week on the road. The true heavy weight of the road is just undeniable. I mean, take veteran Chase Race, who openly admitted on social media that after 13 consecutive years of touring, he is simply exhausted. He noted that he hasn't been able to be himself on stage in a really long time. He needs to step away to actually live life so he can find real experiences to write about again. It's a profoundly honest admission that the machine can completely drain the very art it relies upon. Beyond the sheer physical exhaustion, artists are finally drawing a hard, definitive line for their loved ones. Justin Moore dropped out of the Riley Green tour just 6 shows in, while Jake Worthington paused his touring entirely to focus on his wife and daughter. Similarly, Megan Patrick cleared her 2026 dates for her highly anticipated baby girl. They are choosing family first, absolutely without apology. And we're also witnessing this absolutely unprecedented transparency regarding mental health in an industry that, let's be real, traditionally told artists to just tough it out. Whether it's Taylor Holder stepping back right after his Opry debut, Randall King canceling shows to align with his faith, or Colter Wall briefly seeking professional help, this level of honesty represents a massive, game-changing cultural shift in country music.
Section 3. Prioritizing the human cost.
So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? The country music industry is experiencing a profound human awakening right now. From Zach John King grieving his father and best friend, to superstars battling vocal cord damage, to veterans seeking mental health treatment, these musicians are humans first. For the first time on this scale, they are collectively choosing their sanity, their physical health, and their families over the relentless, endless hustle of the road. I really want to leave you with a provocative thought to ponder today. As fans, are our expectations for constant, nonstop live performances demanding way too high a price from the artists we love? If we want our favorite singers to keep making incredible music for decades, we might just have to accept that they need time to just be human. Will this awakening permanently reshape how tours are booked in the future? Well, only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. The conversation has officially changed. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.